So it is Monday the 7th of April again, and there is one coin that I am looking for a bottom in and buying at the moment here on this pullback, and that is Curve Finance, and I was going to talk about why. And the main reason I think is that I'm really bullish stablecoins. I'm really bullish stablecoins because of everything that's going on in the world with the US and the dollar. And that these stablecoins, I think, can fill a massive gap in countries that are that cannot get access to the amount of dollars that they need. US dollars that are outside of the United States are usually called euro dollars. That's nothing to do with the euro currency. That's just what they're called. And I think stablecoins could be a really good alternative. I also think, with the amount of debt that the United States have to sell this year, stablecoins are really quite important part of the mechanism now. I think particularly if we got another bigger boom in crypto, stablecoin purchase would really help the government out with its US debt, because so many stablecoins are backed or supported by buying US treasuries. So why Curve Finance? So Curve is a DeFi platform that tends to focus on stable coins, and it's an AMM platform. It's a really good way to invest in stable coins without, I think, having a whole bunch of them which tend to not move because they're not meant to, they're stable coins. So let's talk about this chart and why. So let's go out to the monthly. You can see that we are really down here at the lows, and this is because, until now, when we were in a really good bull market in crypto, people just used to buy stable coins to get into the market, and they weren't really kind of doing that well. But here we are, I think, back at really interesting levels on the low after a really big jump from last summer. And let's talk about why that is important. If you think that a downtrend is lower highs and lower lows like this, well, you reverse that downtrend when you take out that previous high, and then you roll over. Then the market is looking for either a higher low, and that is then your trend reversal, or you're looking for a double bottom or a bottoming pattern like this, and then a breakout. And this is kind of where we are for me with Curve Finance. Not only do I like stable coins, but I also think that potentially all the way back, to 2022, that we could be building a big bottoming pattern here. And this swing that we made in November when Trump got elected was a really good. We took out this previous swing low, and we've reversed this downtrend for now, as long as we don't make a new low under this low. So I'm looking for a 3-wave pullback to turn higher, an inverted head and shoulders pattern ideally here in Curve Finance. So that's what I'm looking for. This was a really good level that we pulled back to, which were the lows in 2022 and 2023 around 0.42, 0.43, and so that's my reasoning. If we go down, also, you noticed today that we had the announcement from the SEC that stablecoins are not securities. So that's for me, quite bullish, and should be quite bullish for Curve Finance. So I think that we're building a big weekly inverted head and shoulders pattern. And I also think down here on the daily that I'm looking for a little inverted head and shoulders pattern here after a 3-wave correction. So I'm going to go down to the daily, and here we are held underneath this daily 200 moving average. But from the high in December, and I'm sorry about my dog snoring. I swear, as soon as I start talking, he starts snoring louder. So here we are. Here's our first swing lower, 3-wave correction. And here we are sideways at this equal measured move level, big picture. But here also, we've got this bigger daily inverted head and shoulders pattern bottoming. And so not only have we got this big ABC corrective level here, but also from the high on the 27th of March, we've also just completed with this low today an equal measured move from that high with what I think is also an inverted head and shoulders pattern if we can break this neckline. So how do we know that we're going to come up and back up to this high here? Well, when you make an ABC measured move like this and you bounce from an equal measured move, which I have to say we haven't exactly quite tagged it, but close enough. So I'm looking for the retest to see if we can hold this 0.39 level here on the retest and it doesn't all get wrecked in margin selling today. So I'm watching for a bottoming pattern here at 0.394 to buy or start nibbling at this. And if we get above this 61.8 back level on a back test, which is also this swing low here, which is at 0.4571, when you make an ABC and you get back above this 61.8 level, that kind of confirms it. So for me, that I will then, having nibbled, I will probably likely buy a little bit more back above 0.457. Then I'm gonna, my first target is going to be a retest of these highs and the neckline up here at 0.6, and then above there I'm looking at this and I'm going to trade it as though it's a head and shoulders pattern and target accordingly. One thing I will say though is head and shoulders patterns like this, when they fail, it's usually because they're making a bigger ABC the other way. So if we look at this on a 4 hour, in fact let's put it up to a daily and a little bit clearer, so we can make it clearer on the daily. Back above this swing low and back above the daily 50 moving average, on our way higher again to retest the highs of this range and hold above the 200-day moving average. And a failure would be, this is just a big ABC going the other way. So from this low to this high, that would mean the 200-day moving average would be our first resistance. And if this is going to be like a false breakout fail, that would be at 0.658. But really, if this is a head and shoulders pattern, we should go twice this. So our bullish target, first bullish target would be 0.86. But watch out for a failure at potentially this 200-day moving average or a false breakout at 0.658. But you know, this pattern has been building for some time, both here, this lower time frame one on the daily and this big weekly pattern. And so for me, and especially with this news today about stablecoins, I really like this, I have to say. So let's see if it can work and if we hold and we get kind of a low time frame bottoming. So if we can enter the hourly today, here we've got a lovely big bounce off the lows, this 0.4 level. I don't know if it's going to double bottom or retest, or if we need potentially one more low. And you know, there is always a little bit of a risk that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and we still need a little bit of a low. So we haven't quite got the bullish reversal yet on the low time frames that I'm looking for, but this one is one that I'm certainly watching. And again, back above that daily 50 moving average, which is at 0.465, for me would be really bullish curve.